Datta, Jai Guru Datta, Sri Guru 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 Datta.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Guru Datta and welcome to Datta Arapanam with your hosts Rishi Nirvan Baru
and Ravita Singh. Jai Guru Datta, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to Datta Arapanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Dr. Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji of Avadhuta Dattapitam in Mysuru. Today's program begins with the offering of pranams, gratitude and this invocation prayer at the sacred feet of beloved Sadgurudeva Pujya Shri Swamiji, as this show, possible only through His divine grace, is offered to him. Please join Pujya Shri Bala Swamiji now in worship.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gururdevo Maheshwarah, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Bhuyuta Shri Hari Chinnhitabhyam Agastya Rekhadi Bhiranchitabhyam Nigodha Bijakshara Mudritabhyam Namo Namah Sadguru Padukabhyam. Ganapati Gurumekam Satchidanandarupam Vibhudhanivahasevyam Yogamargadhirudham Sharanamupagatanam Sanghadrivajram Mama Hridaya Nivasam Bhaktinamro Namami, Bhaktinamro Namami.
Once again everyone, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to this morning's edition of Datta Arapanam. Today's program is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of Ramlal Educational Institute of number 12 Exchange Lots Couver, Valini's Drug Mart Limited of 58 to 60 Southern Street, San Fernando, Debe Supermart Limited of 182 SS Erin Road, Debe, and Koke Supermart Limited of 14 Naparima Mayaro Road, San Fernando.
Today, as the Dasha Avatara series continues on Datta Arapanam, we continue from where we left off last week. If that great child devotee, that great Mahatman Prahlada, was so peaceful and so devoid of enmity towards anyone, then what was it that made Lord Sri Hari foretell that Hiranyakashipu would torment Prahlada? Why would any father torment his own child, especially a child who was filled with goodness? Stay tuned to Datta Arapanam to find out. First though, let us join in worshipping Lord Ganapati.
Please open the Bhajanmala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com. Enter Bhajan ID number 51 and join in singing this beautiful bhajan.
ലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
ലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
ലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ. വേദങ്ങൾ നിൻ സ്തോത്ര പാഠങ്ങളായി, ശാസ്ത്രങ്ങൾ നിൻ ഗേഹ മാർഗങ്ങളായി, ഓരോ പുരാണവും നിൻ കഥകളായി, കാവ്യവും ഗാനവും നിൻ കീർത്തനം. ലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
ലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
ഹേ രംഭദേവ ഹേ മാഞ്ചിതാംഗ, ശ്രീരമ്യഹാസ ശ്രിതപാപനാശ, ഹേ ഏകദന്ത ഹേ വക്രതുണ്ട, ഹേ ശൂർപകർണ ഹേ ലംബതുണ്ട, ഹേ ശൂർപകർണ ഹേ ലംബതുണ്ട. ലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
ലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
മനസ്സിലെ തിന്മകൾ മായ്ക്കേണമേ,
മനസ്സിലെ ചിന്മകൾ മായ്ക്കേണമേ,
മഹിതമാം സദ്ബുദ്ധി തോന്നേണമേ,
മഹിതമാം സദ്ബുദ്ധി
ത്യാഗങ്ങൾ ശീലമായി തീരേണമേ.
ത്യാഗങ്ങൾ ശീലമായി തീരണമേ.
തിരുവടി നീ എന്നിൽ വാഴീണമേ.
തിരുവടി നീ എന്നിൽ വാഴേണമേ.
ലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
ഭൂലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
വേദാന്ത വേദ്യ വേഷാതിദൂര
വേദാന്തവേദ്യ വേഷാതിദൂര.
ഹേ വികട ഹേ സൗമ്യ ഹേ വാമന.
ഹേ വികട ഹേ സൗമ്യ ഹേ വാമന.
ആത്മസ്വരൂപ ആനന്ദ ഗോപ.
ആത്മസ്വരൂപ ആനന്ദഗോപ.
ഹേ സുമുഖ ഹേ കപില ഹേ ബാലക.
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 ലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
ഭൂലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
മമതാനുബന്ധങ്ങൾ ഒളിയേണമേ.
മമതാനുബന്ധങ്ങൾ ഒഴിയണമേ.
തിമിരങ്ങൾ ഒക്കെയും അകലേണമേ.
തിമിരങ്ങളൊക്കെയും അകലേണമേ.
നിൻ ദിവ്യ തേജസ്സു നിറയേണമേ.
നിൻ ദിവ്യ തേജസ്സു നിറയേണമേ.
നിൻ ദിവ്യ തേജസ്സു നിറയേണമേ.
നിൻ ദിവ്യ തേജസ്സു നിറയേണമേ.
ശ്രീ സച്ചിദാനന്ദ കനിയേണമേ.
ശ്രീ സച്ചിദാനന്ദ കനിയേണമേ.
ശ്രീ സച്ചിദാനന്ദ കനിയേണമേ.
ശ്രീ സച്ചിദാനന്ദ കനിയേണമേ.
മൂലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
ഭൂലോകനാഥനാം ഗണനാഥ പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
പാലിക്ക ഞങ്ങളെ ഗുരുനാഥ.
ഗുരുനാഥ
ഗുരുനാഥ.
ഗുരുനാഥ
ഗുരുനാഥ.
ഗുരുനാഥ
ഗുരുനാഥ.
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 Such a beautiful bhajan to hear and to sing at the start of the day, at the start of the week, at the start of the month. You were just listening to the beautiful voice of Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji here on Datta Arapanam. Thank you for tuning in to today's offering, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Shri Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Valini's Drug Mart Limited, Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited.
Today, the Dashavatara series continues here on Datta Arapanam. As we prepare for this morning's contemplation, please join in worshipping Naranarayana Maharishis, Goddess Saraswati, and Sage Vyasa. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet.
Over recent weeks, in the lead up to hearing about Bhagavan's incarnation as Lord Narasimha, you heard not only what a divine being Prahalada was, but you also heard that his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu, was an absolute tyrant.
But if Prahalada was such a good, loving child, even to strangers, then why did his own father despise and torment him? If due to his mere presence Prahalada caused the transformation in the wicked, then how come his wicked father was not transformed by associating with his enlightened son? If it is normal for a father to have feelings of affection towards his children, then how come love for his son, Prahalada, was absent in the case of Hiranyakashipu?
Even though Hiranyakashipu had performed limitless penance, he never showed feelings of love towards Prahalada. In fact, he did not even display the slightest bit of compassion towards that young son of his. But why? How could he be so ruthless? Prahalada was a noble son who was obedient towards his parents and who respectfully worshipped all elders, treating them as God. How can a father chastise such a son? It was this hatred towards his son which was ultimately the reason why Hiranyakashipu met with a ghastly death. Stay tuned to Datta Arapanam to find out the background to this, and as you listen to the story, pay particular attention to Prahalada's ways, which teach us how we should behave, but also to the demon's ways, which show us how we should not behave. Learn from both.
The demon king Hiranyakashipu appointed Shukracharya to be his chief priest. Shandha and Amarka, the two sons of Shukracharya, lived near Hiranyakashipu's house and tutored Prahalada at the behest of King Hiranyakashipu.
Although Prahalada was a very young boy, he was very much versed in matters pertaining to scriptures. Still, together with the other boys of the demon clan, he began his education under those two tutors.
Prahalada attentively listened to all the lessons being taught by his teachers, but then figured out that feelings of likes and dislikes were the foundation for all the lessons being taught. The lessons centered around feelings of mine and yours, feelings of this belongs to me while that belongs to you, feelings of this is my friend while he is my enemy, feelings of this is my money and that is yours, feelings of I should eternally be victorious, this is my land or my country and that is your land.
Prahalada attentively listened to all the lessons being taught by his teachers, but they made him unhappy. He felt that emphasis was being given to dualities and differences. The lessons centered around differences such as you and me or mine and yours, while virtuous traits and feelings of non-duality were not taught. The concept of truthfulness was missing. Instead, feelings of hatred, violence, selfishness, greed, and self-centeredness were being inculcated.
Prahalada did not appreciate these lessons which taught negativity, but while he disapproved of these lessons, that young and divine child never disrespected his teachers.
And listeners, just to remind you of what you heard earlier today, pick out the lessons as we go along. File them in your mind, on your phone, in a notebook, wherever they may be easiest to access. Refer to them time and time again so that within yourself, good can be inculcated and bad can be rooted out. Prahalada believed in seeing everyone as one, as equals. He believed in peace and sharing and ahimsa or nonviolence. Yet, even though the opposite was being taught in the Gurukul which he attended, he never disrespected his teachers. All very valuable lessons for us.
Days went by. One day, the demon king Hiranyakashipu lovingly seated Prahlada on his lap and asked, "My dear son, among all the lessons learned thus far, what is your favorite one?"
Prahlada replied, "O supreme among demons, a person's mind is subjected to deep sorrow when that person fosters a strong inclination and desire towards illusory material objects. This samsara, this cycle of birth and death, this is like a deep, dark well which becomes the cause for the person's downfall. So, discarding illusory worldly comforts, a person should retire to the forest and surrender to Lord Sri Hari. This is where one's welfare lies."
Listeners, what a profound statement to come out of the mouth of a young child. It is the key to living a happy life. When we chase worldly sources of happiness, that implies that we are not already happy. But each of us, our true nature is happiness. It is just that the Maya or illusion of the world has acted like sheets upon sheets of dust, covering the mind from seeing that brilliant reflection known as the Self. That Self, everyone, that Self's true nature, unending nature, is that of happiness.
Let us work on cleaning off those sheets of dust which obscure our vision. We have already gathered together to study our scriptures, in today's case Srimad Bhagavatam, which is like a vacuum on steroids, super efficient at clearing away the dusty veil of Maya. Let us add some extra cleaning power now. How? Well, let us join together in Nama Sankirtanam. Please open the Bhajan Mala app once again. Enter Bhajan ID number 664. And as the bhajan says, may this mother, Mother Vishalakshi, remove worldly passion and bestow happiness.
वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मुखोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मुखोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मुखोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मुखोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् काशीनायक पदरसिकां काशीनायक पदरसिकां गंगालहरी कृतजलकां गंगालहरी कृतजलकां दुंडिगणेश्वर शुभजननीं दुंडिगणेश्वर शुभजननीं नतगृह संवृत कल्पवनीं नतगृह संवृत कल्पवनीं वन्दे विश्रुत लोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मुखोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मुखोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् जागृत्स्वप्ने सुप्तिञ्च जागृतस्वप्ने सुप्तिञ्च भूतां भवदपि भव्यञ्च भूतां भवदपि भव्यञ्च युगपत् पश्यति यस्माद्वा युगपत् पश्यति यस्माद्वा विश्रुतनेत्रागतिता सा विश्रुतनेत्रागतिता सा वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मोहोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मोहोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् भोजनसमये अन्नपूर्णां भोजनसमये अन्नपूर्णां गृहराज्येषु च श्रीलक्ष्मी गृहराज्येषु श्रीलक्ष्मी ध्यानावलिषु ज्ञानाम्बां ध्यानावलिषु ज्ञानाम्बां गुरुसविदे सच्चिदानन्द गुरुसविदे सच्चिदानन्द वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मोहोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मोहोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मोहोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम् आनन्दामृतसेचनाम् अन्तर्मोहोन्मोचनाम् वन्दे विस्तृतलोचनाम्.
Yet another example of Vedanta in the form of song. You were just listening to the present day Avadhuta of Lord Dattatreya, Paramapujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, here on Datta Arapanam. Once again, thank you for tuning in to today's offering, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Paramapujya Shri Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited.
Before that bhajan, you heard that when asked by his father what was his favorite lesson learnt thus far, Prahlada said that that lesson was that one should give up the pursuit of material pleasures and instead seek the feet of Lord Sri Hari. Now remember, Lord Sri Hari in the form of Varaha Avatara had already brought an end to the life of Hiranyakashipu's brother Hiranyaksha. So to Hiranyakashipu, Lord Sri Hari was an enemy, and now here was his son glorifying that enemy.
The laugh which erupted from Hiranyakashipu upon hearing Prahlada's answer was a derisive one. It was filled with ridicule and contempt. He thought to himself, "Someone who has a soft spot for my enemy is spoiling this child's mind." He called Prahlada's teachers and reprimanded them, saying, "Please educate my son Prahlada properly. His mind is being spoilt. He has the audacity to openly speak about my enemy. Ensure that he is not deceived by those impostors who are, in reality, followers of Vishnu."
Listeners, there's a very important lesson which can be learned from these words of Hiranyakashipu, and that is that despising God or Guru, or wanting to silence someone who is praising God or Guru, or trying to turn a person's mind away from God or Guru, these are all demonic acts. Never engage in such behavior. Instead, like Prahlada, who was never shy to extol Bhagavan's glory, always be ready and willing to not only praise God or Guru, but to also encourage others to utter such praise as well. In fact, let us all unite our voices, from wherever we are in this Twin Island nation, from wherever we are in the world right now, Let us unite our voices and join with Pujya Sri 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 Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji in praising Sadgurudeva Puja Appaji. Please open the Bhajanmala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com. Enter Bhajan ID number 767 and join in this divine chanting.
दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
औदुंबरा औदुंबरा नरसिंह सरस्वती औदुंबरा
अवदुंबरा अवदुंबरा नरसिंह सरस्वती अवदुंबरा
त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद उषा काले वसुरूप मध्य काले रुद्ररूप संध्या काले आदित्य त्रैपुर शक्ति गुरुने नमो त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
औदुंबरा औदुंबरा नरसिंह सरस्वती औदुंबरा
अवदुंबरा अवदुंबरा नरसिंह सरस्वती अवदुंबरा
गृहपति घर ने रक्षा करो जो दीक्षा पालन दक्षतमे छो धर्म बोधना आचार्य आत्मस्वरूपा गुरु रे जपो त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
औदुंबरा औदुंबरा नरसिंह सरस्वती औदुंबरा
अवदुंबरा अवदुंबरा नरसिंह सरस्वती अवदुंबरा
गंगा जेवू पाप हरे जमुना जेवू शांति रखे सरस्वती जेवू ज्ञान आपे पुण्य तीर्थ सद्गुरु ने भजो त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद त्रिमूर्ति तत्वा दत्तावतार श्री श्री गणपति सच्चिदानंद दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगंबरा
सरस्वती अवदुम्बरा
अवदुम्बरा अवदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती अवदुम्बरा
दिगम्बरा दिगम्बरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगम्बरा
दिगम्बरा दिगम्बरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगम्बरा
अवदुम्बरा अवदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती अवदुम्बरा
अवदुम्बरा अवदुम्बरा नरसिंह सरस्वती अवदुम्बरा
अवधूता अवधूता दत्तात्रेय अवधूता
अवधूता अवधूता दत्तात्रेय अवधूता
अवधूता अवधूता दत्तात्रेय अवधूता
अवधूता अवधूता दत्तात्रेय अवधूता
अवधूता अवधूता सच्चिदानन्द अवधूता
अवधूता अवधूता सच्चिदानन्द अवधूता
सच्चिदानन्द अवधूता अवधूता अवधूता
सच्चिदानन्द अवधूता अवधूता अवधूता
जयलक्ष्मी सत्पुत्रा सच्चिदानन्द श्रीगुरो
जयलक्ष्मी सत्पुत्रा सच्चिदानन्द श्रीगुरो
षोडशदत्तस्थापक सच्चिदानन्द सद्गुरो
षोडशदत्तस्थापक सच्चिदानन्द सद्गुरो
सच्चिदानन्द सद्गुरो सच्चिदानन्द सद्गुरो
सच्चिदानन्द सद्गुरो सच्चिदानन्द सद्गुरो
दिगम्बरा दिगम्बरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगम्बरा
दिगम्बरा दिगम्बरा श्रीपादवल्लभ दिगम्बरा
Truly mesmerizing. But then again, any utterance embedded with devotion has that quality. What beautiful and divine chanting by Pujya Shri 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 Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji. You are tuned in to Datta Arapanam on 103.1 FM. A short while ago, you heard that when Prahalada told his father that one should worship Lord Sri Hari instead of chasing worldly pleasures, his father Hiranyakashipu called Prahalada's teachers and ordered them to teach Prahalada otherwise.
The teachers took Prahalada away with them and returned to their home. After speaking lovingly and cajoling him, they tried to get information from Prahalada. They said, "Dear Prahalada, may you be bestowed with auspiciousness. Answer our questions truthfully. How could you develop this evil habit known as devotion towards Vishnu when none of our other students have acquired that knowledge? Who is secretly teaching you this knowledge? Or is it that devotion automatically sprouted in you? We are amazed that you are devoted to Vishnu. Prahalada, the happiness and fame of your lineage lies in your hands. We, your teachers, seek to know the truth. Please tell us."
The divine child Prahalada replied saying, "My dear teachers, humans who are deluded by the illusion cast by the Supreme Lord maintain differences such as I and you. Such differences are not real. I offer obeisance to that Supreme Lord who is the Lord of illusion. It is spiritual ignorance that causes feelings of I am different from you to arise in a person. This spiritual ignorance or avidya inherently exists within all beings. However, the moment the Lord's grace falls upon a person, all these dualities and differences vanish.
Listeners, in discoursing upon this subject, Parama Pujya Sri Swamiji explained that we must strive to destroy the spiritual ignorance. At the same time, it is said that to destroy spiritual ignorance, the grace of the Supreme Lord is needed. So then, we must first earn Bhagavan's grace. But how do we do this? Well, to earn the Lord's grace, it is imperative that one becomes a true devotee and be totally submissive to Him, wholeheartedly surrender to Him, develop noble qualities, see only good in others, and develop saintliness. The person who really wants to destroy his ignorance should relentlessly work towards achieving this. We do not know when the Lord's grace falls upon us, but when that grace does fall, all feelings of dualities and differences vanish.
We should make sure that evil thoughts do not arise in us. To ensure this, Pujya Sri Swamiji asks that we read Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayanam, or any holy text. Select any language that is familiar to you and read commentaries on that subject. As you engage in good deeds, listeners, wicked thoughts disappear from the mind. The mind becomes purified. This is why either holy scriptures or moral stories should be read repeatedly. Guru's teachings should be read repeatedly. The free app SGS Posts, the website www.dattavani.org, which contains transcripts of discourses given by Pujya Appaji and Sri Swamiji. These are available free of charge, so we have no excuse to not avail of them. If none of the suggestions thus far appeal to you, then start reading Bhagavad Gita along with its meaning. Strive to understand the meaning of the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Not only will this help you in memorizing the shlokas, but it will also bring about miraculous changes in you. And if even this doesn't perk your interest, then at least listen to stories that extol Bhagavan's glories, or watch devotional movies or devotional serials that explain Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, or Srimad Bhagavatam.
On YouTube or Netflix, one can find so many animated stories of Lord Hanuman and other gods. When children watch these, devotion develops within them. But instead of doing this, many waste time in thinking about useless matters. Forget those. Instead, learn to pray. Those who are eligible to chant the Gayatri Mantra, go ahead and do so. Learn to share your food and then enjoy the bliss when you see the beggar relishing that food. Give away clothes in charity. Work in temples or engage in any other social service. Volunteer for any good task.
Listeners, as you have been hearing on recent episodes of Datta Arapanam, work hard without expecting any recognition or reward. Because it is only when this is done that the ego within us begins to melt. Laziness and evil tendencies will get destroyed. And it is only when they are destroyed that the noble qualities that lay deeply hidden within us will emerge. This is not a split second or even an overnight process. It takes time, so start now. Once this moment is gone, you will never get it back, so put it to good use.
Unless and until we get involved in good deeds, spiritual ignorance will put a veil around us. It is only through one's own personal efforts that he or she can break free of spiritual ignorance.
The reality of the situation, though, is that while many are aware of this truth, laziness and lack of faith prevent them from putting in stringent efforts in this right direction. Do not fall into that category. A good devotee should strive to destroy the spiritual ignorance that has enveloped him. Then, as you heard earlier, the grace of the Lord will fall upon him.
Prahlada, the student, had shed the veil of spiritual ignorance, but it was his father and his teachers whose judgment and thinking remained clouded by ignorance. To his teachers, Prahlada continued speaking by saying, "My dear teachers, the Supreme Lord resides as the self within. Ignorant persons who are filled with feelings such as, 'This is my relative' and 'that is my enemy,' such persons will never ever be able to worship him. Their mind will not allow them to sing his glories."
And listeners, while this statement made by Prahlada is true, in other words, although it is true that the mind that has turned wicked will never cooperate in singing the Lord's glories, this habit must be forcibly cultivated if necessary. But moving on with Prahlada's response to his teachers, he also said, ignorant persons describe the non-dual self as friend or enemy. Even the greatest gods, such as Brahma, who is an exponent in the knowledge of Vedas, even he gets bewildered in aspects pertaining to the Supreme Essence. It is the Supreme Lord who has made my intelligence or my buddhi different from that of yours, said Prahlada to his teachers.
My dear teachers, he continued, just as iron pieces automatically move towards a magnet, my mind, which is automatically drawn towards the Lord, who holds the discus in his hands, my mind simply melts in his presence.
Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji has said that the lesson behind this message is simple. The mind is the cause for both devotion and wickedness. If the mind is focused upon God, then devotion sprouts. If it is drawn away from him, then sadly devotion will be destroyed.
Prahlada's teachers became angry after listening to Prahlada's speech and threatened to punish him. But still, unfazed, Prahlada tried to teach his demon classmates these same lessons and many more on righteous thinking and ways of living.
And more than that, he also tried to educate his father, the demon king Hiranyakashipu, saying, "O father, an unrestrained mind runs in the wrong direction. There is no enemy in this creation other than one's mind. There are some who, without controlling their 6 inner enemies, known as the 5 senses and the mind, or the 6 enemies known as desires or karma, anger or krodha, greed or lobha, infatuation or moha, envy or matsarya, and arrogance or mada, there are some who, even without gaining control over these inner foes, take pride saying that they have controlled the 10 directions. But listeners, what is the use of conquering the external world when one fails to control his inner senses and mind? What is the use of external victory when one fails to control lust and anger and other inner enemies? Conquering inner enemies is far more difficult than conquering the external world.
Prahlada explained to his father that to the supremely knowledgeable person or jnani who has conquered the mind and who has feelings of equal-mindedness towards all living beings, there can be no enemies. But it is feelings of "this is mine" and "that belongs to others." It is such feelings or such thoughts which create enemies.
Listeners, today we have learnt a lot from Prahlada, but we have also learned from Sadgurudeva Sri Swamiji that without the Lord's grace, spiritual ignorance cannot be shed. So let us actively work towards earning that grace and shedding that ignorance. Let us immerse our minds and our voices in the praises of God as we once again join in Nama Sankirtanam. Please open the Bhajan Mala app, enter Bhajan ID number 227 and sing along.
ಸದ್ಗುರುದೇವನೇ ಕರುಣಾಸಾರನೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷವ ನೀಡುವ ಗುರುದತ್ತ ದೇವನೇ ಸದ್ಗುರುದೇವನೇ ಕರುಣಾಸಾರನೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷವ ನೀಡುವ ಗುರುದತ್ತ ದೇವನೇ ಪಿಂಗಳರಾಗಗೆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಲೋಕ ತೋರಿದೆ ಅಗಸನ ಭಕ್ತಿಗೆ ರಾಜ್ಯವ ನೀಡಿದೆ ಪಿಂಗಳರಾಗಗೆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಲೋಕ ತೋರಿದೆ ಅಗಸನ ಭಕ್ತಿಗೆ ರಾಜ್ಯವ ನೀಡಿದೆ ಸದ್ಗುರುದೇವನೇ ಕರುಣಾಸಾರನೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷವ ನೀಡುವ ಗುರುದತ್ತ ದೇವನೇ ದತ್ತ ದಿಗಂಬರ ಅವದುಂಬರನೆ ಚಿತ್ತವ ಪಾಲಿಸು ಸನ್ಮತಿ ಸಾರನೆ ದತ್ತ ದಿಗಂಬರ ಅವದುಂಬರನೆ ಚಿತ್ತವ ಪಾಲಿಸು ಸನ್ಮತಿ ಸಾರನೆ ನಿತ್ಯ ನಿರಂಜನ ಶಿವ ಸುಂದರನೆ ಸತ್ಯ ಸ್ವರೂಪನೆ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದನೆ ನಿತ್ಯ ನಿರಂಜನ ಶಿವ ಸುಂದರನೆ ಸತ್ಯ ಸ್ವರೂಪನೆ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದನೆ ಸದ್ಗುರುದೇವನೇ ಕರುಣಾಸಾರನೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷವ ನೀಡುವ ಗುರುದತ್ತ ದೇವನೇ ಸದ್ಗುರುದೇವನೇ ಕರುಣಾಸಾರನೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷವ ನೀಡುವ ಗುರುದತ್ತ ದೇವನೇ ಮೋಕ್ಷವ ನೀಡುವ ಗುರುದತ್ತ ದೇವನೇ ಮೋಕ್ಷವ ನೀಡುವ ಗುರುದತ್ತ ದೇವನೇ
And on that divine note, we begin to wrap up today's episode of Datta Arapanam.
Pranams and gratitude are offered at the divine feet of beloved Sadgurudeva, Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji and Pujya Shri 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 Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji, without whose teachings, compassion, love, guidance and music, this program would not exist.
Pranams to you, Puja Appaji and Sri Swamiji. Kindly forgive any errors which may have been committed in preparing or in sharing today's episode of Datta Arapanam, and please guide us to avoid such errors in the future.
Special thanks are extended to the staff at 103.1 FM and to the sponsors of Datta Arapanam, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. And of course, dear listener, an extra special thank you is extended to you for sharing your Sunday morning with us.
Remember, if you would like to listen to today's offering again, the podcast will be uploaded to 103.1 FM's website by tomorrow evening. Simply visit www.103fm.tt, click on podcasts and scroll down to Datta Arapanam. Alternatively, you can also access the link via the Datta Arapanam Facebook page.
Once again, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. You are invited to please tune in to 103.1 FM again next Sunday at 6 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time for another episode of Datta Arapanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
Jai Guru Datta.
Shri Guru Datta. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
ಶಬ್ದಮಯ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಮಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶಬ್ದಮಯ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಮಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ. ಶಿಕ್ಷಾಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವು ಶಿರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಕರಣ ಶಿಕ್ಷಾಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವು ಶಿರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಕರಣ ಛಂದೋಗಮ್ಯನು ನಿನಯ್ಯ ನಿನ ಬಣ್ಣಿಸಿದೆ ನಿರುಕ್ತವು ಛಂದೋಗಮ್ಯನು ನಿನಯ್ಯ ನಿನ ಬಣ್ಣಿಸಿದೆ ನಿರುಕ್ತವು ಶಿಕ್ಷಾಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವು ಶಿರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಕರಣ ಛಂದೋಗಮ್ಯನು ನಿನಯ್ಯ ನಿನ ಬಣ್ಣಿಸಿದೆ ನಿರುಕ್ತವು ಶಬ್ದಮಯ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಮಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶಬ್ದಮಯ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಮಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ. ಜ್ಯೋತಿಷ್ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವು ಕಣ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಿತು ಕೇಸರಿಯ ಜ್ಯೋತಿಷ್ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವು ಕಣ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಿತು ಕೇಸರಿಯ ಕಲ್ಪಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ನಿನವಯ್ಯ ಕಲ್ಪನೆಗೆಟುಕದ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಕಲ್ಪಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ನಿನವಯ್ಯ ಕಲ್ಪನೆಗೆಟುಕದ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಜ್ಯೋತಿಷ್ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವು ಕಣ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಿತು ಕೇಸರಿಯ ಕಲ್ಪಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ನಿನವಯ್ಯ ಕಲ್ಪನೆಗೆಟುಕದ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಶಬ್ದಮಯ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಮಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶಬ್ದಮಯ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಮಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ ಬಾರಯ್ಯ. ಓಂ ಶಾಂತಿ 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 ಹರಿ ಓಂ ತತ್ಸತ್.